So I had my first ever makeup lesson. I know, right? Schizoid, lifelong tomboy, and now I look like this. I look kind of girly and polished. Still managed to get the goth vibes in, but yeah, this is quite different for me. And I don't entirely know how I feel about it yet, like whether this is something that I would do daily. I mean, I do need to practice, but whether it becomes like my daily image or if it's just something that I do when I'm doing band things or if I need to do a photo shoot or whatever, like, you know, those specific creative things that I wanted to get into it for. Yeah, we'll see how that goes, but it was an interesting experience. So I guess I'll tell you about all the things and I will figure out how I feel about it later. But yeah, so I did this at Mecca, and what I did, I just went online. They have a thing where you sign up for a 90-minute lesson. Thank God they have them in the afternoon, because some of the other classes I were looking at, you know, all-day courses or maybe like 5-hour courses, and they start at 10 in the morning. That's when I wake up, that's when I drag myself out of bed. So yay for the shorter version in the afternoon when I'm actually functioning. As part of signing up to that, like, you know, you have to pay, it's $150, but unlike the one that was going to be $700 for a whole day, you actually get to use that money to buy stuff in the store. So it's kind of like saying, it's kind of like getting a free lesson, but saying, I will buy at least $150 worth of stuff, if that makes sense. So that's much better. Like, yes, the other place was going to give me free brushes, but this place was going to let me look at everything. So that's great. I like that idea. And yeah, so you have to prepay, obviously, because you're booking this spot. And then you also join their like loyalty club, which is kind of fun in itself. I'll mention that at the end. And then, yeah, you get reminders and turn up on the day. They say come 10 minutes early. I did that because I am one of those anxious kind of like get everywhere on time people. It's rare for me to be late. Rocked up. They were really nice. Like while I was waiting for the makeup artist, they offered me water. They had sparkling water or still water, but I actually had an apple juice in my bag because I went to Subway first. I was hungry, and yeah, apple juice with my meatball sub. Yeah, so I didn't get the drink, but that's nice that they offer. And then, yeah, sat me down, my makeup artist. She was really nice and she was really sweet and she was really patient with me because I just told her, like, she asked me, you know, basically like, what am I after and what do I already know? And I told her, I know nothing. I did like the, have you seen my past makeup video? You know, I just do like eyeliner and then, because it looks dodgy, eyeshadow, and because I'm goth, it doesn't matter if it gets a little bit too big and messy and out of hand, and that's about it. I also showed her stuff about like my face cleaning routine. She asked me about that, and everything that I know is from my struggles with acne. So, you know, I showed her I've got like this oil-free eye makeup remover. So, you know, because all I ever do is eye makeup. And, you know, I've got my pimple cream and I've got a face moisturizer because you need to moisturize. Otherwise you get more pimples because your body produces more oils. So like the moisturizer, stops your body producing too much oils and clogging things up. So, and she looked at, like, I took a photo. I was over prepared. I took a photo, showed it to her, and she's like, yep, that's good stuff. Okay, then we get into the actual makeup stuff. In the past, trying to watch YouTube tutorials, being a total noob, when I first discovered what foundation, like, you know, seeing these chicks put foundation on, that blew me away. I was like, so, but no, that's not even the first step. It turns out, so the first thing you do, she said, wash your face. I'm partly making this video so that I remember because it was just a few hours ago. If I wait too much longer, I'm going to forget. So wash your face with water. Don't really need anything fancy. Then put the moisturizer on. And she said, leave the moisturizer on for a bit because you don't want it to mix with all the other stuff that you're going on, like putting on. Otherwise it like dilutes it. So yeah, then she sat me there and because like I told her, I'll just trust you. There's nothing in particular I want to try. So she went out and got, you know, picked up a bunch of tester things. Came back, we did a primer, put a primer on my face. So she kind of explained that as like it goes on to make things smoother, and so when you do put the foundation on, it like sticks to your face better. So it's not 100% necessary, but if you don't use it and if you have like say a dry patch on your skin, it changes the way that the foundation sticks. It kind of just like makes everything consistent. So now I know what primer is, and now you do too, because I know most of my audience is male. Although I don't know, are there any chicks who want to watch beginner makeup stuff, me going to a lesson? Yeah, so not 100% necessary, but then you know, is any makeup really necessary? No. So we did the primer, and then she got 3 different shades of foundation to try and match onto my skin. She asked me, like, I told her I do goth stuff, I told her I do heavy metal stuff, and I told her, like, you know, in the past when I do just the dark eyes, on stage, bright lights can really wash out your face, and I told her I don't mind that because I'm going for that kind of goth thing anyway. If it washes me out and just emphasizes the eyes and I look pale, that actually works really well, so I don't mind. And yeah, she asked me, well, if you're doing the goth thing, do you want to go like 1 shade lighter than your actual skin? And I considered it, but I thought, I don't know anything. I better start with the basics. So I said, look, I trust you. Because I couldn't even tell which one matches me the closest. But yeah, I said, we'll just, like, you know, probably should start with natural, because then if I understand what natural is, I can always go lighter later. If I decide that I like this, I can experiment with things. But it's better if I know what my color is now. Whereas if I start pale, I'll probably always stay pale. What if I want to go the other way? I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I suppose I could always ask them again. But yeah, we started off with like close to my skin color. And so it goes on top of like, it goes on top of the primer, covers your face, and yeah, it kind of just, it does make you look flat. And we discussed that a bit, like, you know, so apparently some people like that really flat look, and it made me think of like, if I'm doing the cybergoth thing, actually I do want to kind of look unnatural, because you're trying to look a bit more like an android. So you could just stop there with the foundation, make your face really like kind of just like, yeah, flat. So we talked a bit about that, potential uses for it. Anyway, no, once you're flat, then the next thing, I'm going by memory because all my notes are on the phone, which is what I'm using to film this. Then the next one was contouring, and there was like a bronzer, and I don't know, sorry, Hope's trying to escape, and I'm filming this in the evening, so there's a bit of noise out there, which I'll try not to get distracted. But yeah, so then this is to like bring the shape back in. And this is where she made a comment about how I've got like really nice cheekbones. And I posted a photo after I dyed my hair black in the goth shop group, and I got a few comments about my cheekbones. And so I've had to, like, people say this to me, and I have to go on Google and be like, what are cheekbones? What's the big deal? Because I don't understand it. Like, apparently it's like, if I smile, you can see like that kind of line that just naturally, like the natural shape of my cheeks. To me, what it looks like is like, you know, if you get a skull and they have like that kind of look, and then there's like the mouth, I think it makes me look like a skeleton. But apparently this is an attractive feature. I don't understand mainstream aesthetics, so okay, whatever. So she was like, oh, this is great. We don't have to do a lot of work to figure that out. And it's sort of like with that contoury thing, you sort of get it just on the edge there and then blend it upwards. And then you also take it up to like the top of your head, so like the edge of your head, and you blend that up into your hairline. And then you also do a little bit under the chin where the shadow is, where the shadow naturally goes, and then you blend that one downwards. So it makes like a 3 shape, she said. And you don't do it in the middle though, because it makes your chin look sharper or something. I don't know, maybe I'll experiment with that and we'll see if that's real. Yeah, so it does that. Also, I forgot, with the foundation thing, we all did the face, but she also like said brush it a little bit into your ear and on your neck. And if I'm going to be doing like shaving, like I plan to shave the back of my head more than just the undercut that I did. But yeah, so like, you know, you just do very lightly around the neck so that like it doesn't look like you're a clown, like it sort of blends into your neck. There's all this complicated stuff, like as you use these brush things, you know, the product starts strong, but then as you use more, it sort of weakens, and that's when you go down there when there's only a little bit left. So all these crazy stuff, and I guess that's kind of like, as you're using the contoury stuff, the more you brush it, it gets weaker, and so you start where you really want it, and then, sorry babe, you chose to be in here while I'm filming, yeah, and I've locked the door, so... because there are boys in the house who don't understand that I'm trying to film and I want to film before I eat. But anyway, yeah, so we did that, and she did this side of my face, and then I copied on this side, and yeah, it's okay. So at this stage, I was a little bit worried because it was hard to see what was going on with that contouring stuff because it's so subtle. But when I looked at her side and then looked at my side before I'd done it, that's when I started to see, oh yeah, this is flatter. But it's so subtle that I almost couldn't tell the difference. Like when it first went on, sure, but then once it was blended in, I was like, is anything actually happening here? I don't know if it was also partly the lighting in the shop, but you know, like I feel like at home now, looking on the camera, I'm like, oh yeah, there's actually a lot going on. But anyway, so contoury stuff. Then the next stage was concealer or highlighty things, and that's like a lighter stuff. So instead of the darker stuff around the edges of your face, this one, so we did a little bit under the nose because that's where like, so basically anywhere there's where like redness happens, like under your nose, I guess if you blow your nose a lot. And then we did some under the eyes, and then we did some on the forehead. Yeah, and that was also kind of a subtle thing, but you know, especially under my eyes, because I have such poor sleep. I'm in a constant state of sleep deprivation, and I've been out every day this week. I do not know how I'm functioning. I did go to bed earlier last night. I made it to bed before midnight, but that has not been the norm. And Mikey woke up at 4:40. That's my disabled brother. So how am I functioning? I don't know, but yeah, I do. I think people don't notice the bags under my eyes, but I can notice like the skin feels like just a bit different. I can tell when I'm tired. And so like you put it over all that kind of stuff. Kind of interesting. See if I need, I don't know. Yeah, so that's like that. Apparently some people also put some in the nose, in the middle. Yeah, mainly like the middle of the face, using the brush kind of thing. The whole time like that we're doing all this brush stuff, she was also saying like how good I am at, you know, doing the things. This is like one of the weird things that happens is people will show me a thing, I'll do it exactly how they show me, and then they're super impressed by that. And to me, I just find that weird. I think because I like pick up things faster than other people, or I just pick up like what they're doing and I can replicate it. I don't know if some people, like I guess trying to teach people, because I have taught, I mean, I tried an art teaching job and like trying to teach kids not to like press real hard into a paper and draw really hard lines, like, you know, trying to get them to concentrate on that. They forget so easily, and like, you know, how do you hold things? I've also taught people bonsai, and, you know, you could show them all the steps, but whether they remember to do things, I don't know, maybe my memory's just better. I don't, whatever it is, she was impressed with me being able to copy her the whole time. Anyway, I was a little bit worried, like, I was like, are you sure I'm doing this right? Okay, cool. So the highlights, concealer kinds of things. So we've gone dark on the outside of the face and light more on the inside of the face. Then the next thing I think was the blush. She said like, you know, do you want blush? And I'm like, fuck it, I want to learn everything. Because I don't know, do I want blush? Because that's the pink stuff. But I want to learn everything. So we did it, and the blush is like, so where the contour was like on the bottom edge, this one goes like on the top edge of the little cheek, and pink. And so, you know, she did it first. And this is where things started to get a little bit more me, I guess, because like, you know, I put it on here, but clearly my technique is not as subtle as hers. And so it started to get pretty pink. And I could tell that I'd done more than she had. And but it actually like looked kind of cute. Like that's when I, you know, with the contours and the highlights, very subtle stuff, but this is when I could actually see that something was happening. So then because I'd done it a bit more there, and she was like, oh, that actually looks really cool, you should do a bit more on this side. So then I did a little bit more on that side. Pink for like rosy cheeks. And then, you know, I was just like, how low do I go? She's like, no, you don't go too low. Okay, all right, we did that. Blush. Now I know what blush is. Like, of course I knew it was something on cheeks, but now I know how to actually use it. What was next? I think then we worked on the eyes, and we started off with like all the stuff, all the products that she was giving me are like liquids rather than powder, which I didn't know that everything comes in a liquid. So when we get up to eyeshadow, and that's also not like, you know, I've had my little powdery things. This is actually a liquidy kind of thing. And you put it like in the middle of the eye, and then you use a brush to like bring it in. And I think this is what we used, like, you remember with that makeup, the shitty makeup video where I bought this brush thinking it would be like one of these, right? And it's not. No, this is for like pulling in so you always pull it in towards your eye so that you don't like go completely nuts with it, but like, you know, bringing the eyeshadow into the middle. We started off with like a dark brown though, and she said you should use dark brown first, because if you start with the black, apparently it goes like a weird grayish glue, or like it's not good. I need to experiment with that to know if it's really necessary, but yeah, so we did the dark brown in the like middle part of the eye, and then we used a lighter brown to sort of make it a bit bigger, and then I think with the steps, like she probably forgot some of the steps that she showed me when we were writing all this down. But anyway, so we did that. And then we used a different darker brown and went sort of over it again. And that's when it started to get really dark. And then there's like this other one, which was lighter, and you sort of swirl it around the edges. And using these brushes instead of like this stuff and using good products is actually a lot easier than me with my shitty little palette and like all the speckles of crappy powder just going everywhere. And you know, she's showing me how to tap the excess off so that I don't get all the speckles that I always get underneath there. Although she said you can always just go over it either with concealer or foundation if you do get those speckles. I'm like, wow! That's so much easier than grabbing a bit of toilet paper and trying to just like desperately get rid of those extra little smudges. Yeah, and then with that final like lighter shadow and then swirling it a bit is how we got like more of a sort of a blend contour kind of thing. Like not some, contour is probably the wrong word in the makeup context, but like, you know, in terms of like, what would you call it? Just like fading it out, and so that it's not as extreme as when I do like my full-on black stuff. Okay, and then more stuff with eyes. So then we actually did come back with a black eyeliner, and that was an eyeliner pencil. I've tried liquid eyeliner before and it was really hard. So I don't know, we're using a lot of the easy products where you can fix things up if there's a mistake. So we just did the liner and didn't use eyeshadow underneath. I usually use eyeshadow underneath and it can get really out of hand. We actually used an eyeliner brush to like sort of get it to go out a bit more and sort of line up with the eyeshadow and, you know, match that line, and then to bring things in more to the inside. So instead of using the pencil the whole way, it's like you just pull part of that into the different directions, and coming from here I actually pull this way, so then as the brush picks up some of the eyeliner, then it gets a little bit more subtle in the middle or something like that. Really interesting. It's just so like and she also told me that I've been doing things backwards the whole time. You're supposed to do eyeshadow first and then eyeliner. Trust me, I mean, my whole thing was like, I want eyeliner, but I suck at it, so I use the eyeshadow to cover that up. But no, you're meant to do eyeshadow, then eyeliner. Okay, I learned something. We also did a bit of mascara, which I've also tried in the past and just had no idea how, like I would just go like that because that's what I've seen mum do, or, you know, picked up from various places. But no, so she showed me how you like get in there like as close as you can to the, you know, base of your eyelash, and then you actually wiggle it this way and then roll it up, and that's how it works. And I'm like, okay, cool. And it did make a difference. Although I think if I really get into this stuff and I really get into eyelashes, I'd be keen to try out the ones that like the stick-on eyelashes. I'd be interested in that because I feel like the mascara is such a subtle thing that I don't give a shit. Whereas if I had more dramatic eyelashes, then I would notice. Like a lot of this subtle stuff is too subtle for me. I like something that I can actually notice. I mean, if you've noticed, when I've done my hair in the past, going bright colors, if someone else gets a haircut and they don't do something dramatic, I'm not going to notice. So I have to do dramatic things for myself so that I notice. I mean, black, yeah, I notice. I mean, it's still one of the more subtle things I've done with my hair, but yeah, like it has to be full black. Like if it was too similar to my hair color, who gives a shit? So yeah, no, I don't know that mascara is really my thing. I would want to go for like the really out there eyelashes if I get into this and if I can be bothered. And then we also used an eyebrow thing to like, I mean, my eyebrows are fine, they're kind of dark already, but she showed me how to use it anyway, and so we just like add a little bit of color to that, and you like brush it in the, like, you know, along the same line that the hairs go. So cool, that's easy. And then with the lipstick, so I showed her my old lipstick because I have a black one. The trouble is, like, when you put it on, even like, you know, if you eat or drink, it rubs off. And even if you just lick your lips, it starts to rub off. And it's just like, why even bother using it? So instead of a lipstick, we got a lip stain, which I didn't know was a thing. And she found me like, I don't think they have black there, but she found me this dark purple, sort of, you know, reddish purples. It might be the darkest they have in the lip stain. And so the way that goes on, like, you know, you start in the middle and then sort of gradually pull it out, and the whole time you do like ma, and then, you know, keep going. And then the great thing about this little lip stain, like, you know, the lipsticks that you see where it's just like, you know, it's as big as your finger, and then you try to put that on, like, I've always found that really hard to control. But this little thing, this lip stain, it has like this little point, and so it's wide in one direction and thin in another direction. So for the big bits, you can sort of do, you know, use the bigger part, but then for the actual outlining, there's like a really thin thing you can use, and she showed me how to make the most of that, so that you can like really accurately get the edge there. And I'm just like, amazing. That's so much easier than using a lipstick. So I just like learned so much stuff. And yeah, like we didn't use really many powders. I think really only the powders we used was eyeshadow. Everything else was liquid. Even the lipstick was that lip stain thing. And she explained with a lip stain, it's not like a lipstick. It's not going to come off. It actually stains your lip. And I asked her, like, if I make a mistake, what do you do? And she's like, you've got to get rid of it as fast as you can, because once it dries on there, it's going to stay until you take it off properly with product. So I think that's like how we did everything. And so I did ask, how do I take it off? And it turns out that eye makeup remover is actually stronger than regular makeup remover, because, you know, the stuff that goes on your eyes is stronger or something. So that explains a lot. So when I use those makeup wipes, that's why the makeup wipes suck, because they're for your whole face, whereas the eye makeup remover actually takes stuff off properly. Hope you can. You wait, please. I will brush your teeth and all that in a moment. Oh my God, he's so unhappy with me. But yeah, so she said, you know, I can always put a bit of the eye makeup remover onto the makeup wipe as well and do that, and it's fine, and just, you know, wash my face, make sure everything's nice. Yeah, and then, you know, so we went through, wrote down, she took me through all the different steps as I, like, you know, wrote down my notes, and I took photos of all the products that we used, and oh my God, Hopi. And yeah, so and then, you know, she was talking to me about what do you actually want to buy, because, you know, you've got the $150 credit. I think actually I asked her a bunch of other questions, because, like, you know, if I'm wearing a cyber wig, for example, that comes down here, and like, so should I just not do this? And she's like, yeah, you know, oh no, the last thing we did was the setting powder. So like, there's actually this powder stuff that stops the makeup moving around. Almost forgot about that. So that's how we got onto this whole thing. Apparently it can help with like the glasses. Because yeah, you know, if you wear glasses and it moves the makeup around, that's not great. But apparently the setting powder is about as good as you're going to get in terms of keeping that from becoming a mess. It's probably going to become a mess after a while, but you know, yeah. And so like we dab that on, and like with all this stuff, you're supposed to like dab it, because if you swipe it, it can move the stuff that's underneath. So yeah, dabbing. There's only like a handful of situations where you swipe things. Oh my gosh. But yeah, the setting powder. And with the like cyber wigs, which come down to here, she's sort of like, yeah, probably better off to just not even do anything up there, because it's all going to get messed up anyway. So, you know, I'm sort of like, if I'm wearing a cyber wig somewhere and I decide I want to take it off, maybe I should get like a thick headband or something, or a bandana or something, to just go over that, so that it doesn't look weird, like I have makeup up to there and then nothing. So we talked about those logistics, and like, if I have to wear a mask, apparently the setting powder is what I want for that. Yeah, so we learned a lot about that, and, you know, I can eat and drink with this. I mean, I haven't eaten anything with this. I did have cha time with this and nothing moved, so I'm impressed with that already. It does feel a bit weird. I'm used to having like, you know, just regular lip balm to just moisturize my lips. So it has felt a little bit dry. I might try and put some moisturizer over it, some of the lip balm over it, just to see what happens. But I wanted to do this video while I still look like this. Yeah, so she answered a bunch of my questions. There's probably other things. If there's anything I've forgotten, maybe I'll put it on Patreon. I don't know. But then, so we went to buy stuff and I told her I have basically nothing. I'll show you what I've already got. We're basically gonna have to throw, like I showed her this stuff and what are we gonna throw in the bin? I just grabbed all like my makeup related stuff, shoved it in a punk rave bag because I have so many of them and I don't have like a makeup bag. Mum gave me something to use as a makeup bag ages ago, but it's like really tiny so nothing fits in there. So like I even chucked in this, which I got from Hello Scream. I never actually used because I didn't need it because my mask covered my entire face. You couldn't even see my eyes, but this is face paint. That's not makeup. Then there's, you know, my regular eyeshadow thing that someone gave me ages back, and the black is almost all gone. And I asked her, like, you know, what can I use these things for? And, you know, I could use it, like, it is eyeshadow, and she's saying, oh, you could do it in this way. I'm going to experiment and do it better than my last experiment. Eyeliner pencils, these are going in the bin, because I showed her, like, you know, this has all the little crappy wood bits, which I don't want to get in my eye, and she just looked at it and was like, yeah, that's probably had it in the bin. And then this one on the end, I don't know if you can see, on the end is pretty crappy. Yeah, so that also in the bin. I wonder if I can use no, even the sharpener looks crap, so that's in the bin. Sorry, Hopi. Oh, but I forgot to get I need to get a new, pencil sharpener because that is pretty, but I gotta keep it for now because that's all I've got. I'm gonna keep these because she did tell me how they actually work, and so these are for like packing on the color, and so that's why probably, you know, you can't blend with these, whereas the other brushes are for like blending. I also showed her, so these are some lipsticks. I think I got this in high school because I had to do, for English, I had to write something from the perspective of a teen magazine, and I'd never read a teen magazine, so I bought a teen magazine to try and understand how to write for it. And so like, I mean, it looks okay, but it's not like a color I like, and it's from 2006, so in the bin. What if I just keep them for when I want to do dodgy makeup though? Or is that a bad habit? I should really just throw them out, shouldn't I? I'm gonna do it. Bye! Okay, me, you're not allowed to get them out of the bin. That's gross. Don't do it. Leave them there. Then there's this one. This is my black. It's the Manic Panic one, and it is shit because that's the one that goes on, and then it just, I mean, you know, the color looks nice enough, but it just dies. Like, I put it on and I just eat it, so probably gonna throw that in the bin. I feel bad about throwing it in the bin. Maybe I should keep it for like some kind of weird art thing, but I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. What else? I also showed her, I found these like nail polishes. I don't know if they're any good. They're probably heaps gluggy. I might experiment with them just to see if they're still alive, but they're probably like, even if they still work, they might be too thick, so they're probably in the bin. So that's all that stuff. And then I told her, like, I bought these at Mecca previously. I haven't actually opened the eyeshadow because I thought I better use my crap eyeshadow before I move on to the good stuff. But now that she's shown me how it works, you know, how everything works, I might actually start using it. And then with this one, the smudge shadower thing, the brush, that's the only brush that I have or had. Okay, so that's all the stuff that I used to have. The stuff I bought. Ta-da! So I got like a whole set of brushes. Thank God they had one in a whole set because they have like walls of brushes and like, you know, and the different brands they sell each have their own brushes as well. And I'm just like, how would I even choose? So we just got a full set, and it even comes with like a travel case, and it has a little sponge thingy, and on the back it tells you what they all are, which is exactly what I need. So yay, I am set up for brushes. And then I also got That's Me primer, and I just got a small one because they didn't have the big one, and because I thought I'm going to try it with and without primer so that I can understand like exactly how it works and whether I really want or need it. So I have it. This is what we use today. But yeah, I'll think about it because like the bigger one was actually going to be quite expensive. So let's start with a small one and I will just see if I like it. And this is my foundation. So yeah, I got that. I will definitely try it and I will try and use it more and try and get just the hang of it. So yeah, we'll play with that. This is the contouring thing. Yeah, it felt a bit subtle, so I'll see how I go. I can always get like a darker color later or just play with. I need to watch goth tutorials, but let's start with the basics. I'm going to use the same one that we used today, and I'll get used to that hopefully. So this one is actually the highlighter concealer thing, which she said was quite expensive and she didn't know why it was expensive. So she kind of just like got a little bit of a sample there, said it would last me a while, gave it to me in a little thing for free, so that's nice. This one is the blush. Look, pinky, pinky, pinky. A little bit of a light pink, so not over the top. And yeah, that is where I started to have the fun. So yeah, see how we go. I think I probably will use that because that one was the first one that really made sense to me. This one is the eyeshadow that goes on first, and then you use the smudge stick. So this is before the black goes on. I don't entirely know if this is really necessary. So this is another one I'm going to experiment and see if I really feel like I need it. I also didn't quite understand like what I was doing. But hey, you know, we'll try the layers and I will try it without layers and see how I go with that. Interesting, different, it's a brown kind of a color. Alright, whatever. I guess it's like all to do with mixing things. Hope you just wait. And this is the eyeliner pencil. Finally got a decent one, so definitely gonna make use of that now, especially if I'm throwing out those old crappy ones. And it does seem to make a difference, like if you're using a decent pencil as opposed to like 10-year-old, probably dead product. Yeah, in terms of being able to put it on more easily. I need to get better stuff and I need to start using better stuff. Unlike like, you know, with the eyeshadow, I've been like, oh, I need to do. No, I think I need to start using the good stuff to be able to get good at it and also to get some confidence because having good stuff, you know, it's easier. And this is the lip stain. This is the last thing that I bought. I didn't buy any of the like mascara or the eyebrow stuff or the setting powder at this stage, but the lip stain, I was pretty impressed with it because yeah, like it still looks, it's dark and purple-ish, so it's kind of got a goth vibe to it and it's probably a good one to practice with. And you know, sometimes like all black is a little bit too much, so it's good to have a bit of color. I'm definitely going to practice with that because, you know, like sometimes the lipstick is kind of fun and like, you know, on stage as well. As a singer, maybe you want to see my mouth instead of having everything fade into the light. Yeah, no, and I did kind of like, once I did the eyes and then we put that on, it started to feel a bit more balanced as well. So definitely going to give that a go. Now, that's everything that I bought. I think actually the blush, she might not have scanned in, but hey, I did spend a lot of money. So like I had the 150 was for the lesson, but then some of that went on to the products, but then I spent another like 160 or so. So that got me over the $300 mark, which I think gets me into level 1 of their program, the loyalty program. And with that, apparently they send you like samples throughout the year. And then also on your birthday, you get some kind of gift. I think that's a really good loyalty program for me. I don't know if makeup people like that, but I like it because then they will just give me stuff and I can play with things, play with some new things and learn things that way instead of me having to walk in and go, what am I going to try today? I have no idea. And then following goth tutorials as well. Like I'll get into it, but it would also be nice to just have something random. And then with all the goth tutorials out there, like how do I choose one over another? What if someone just gave me stuff? Then I don't have to think about it, right? Now, in terms of the things that I didn't get, so like, you know, as I said, the mascara, not sure that I need it. The eyebrow stuff, I think as long as I don't like accidentally put heaps of foundation on it, should be fine. I can always like, I don't know, if I get desperate, I'll just like eyeshadow or something dodgy like that. No, the main thing I didn't get was the setting powder. I don't know how much that costs or whatever, but you know, because I'm a beginner, I'm probably going to be wanting to like take things off and put them back on again. So until I'm really confident, I probably don't need the setting powder. I probably need that once I start actually going out and gigging, or if I'm going out like for a long day or a long night with all the face and I want to keep the face looking good. Yeah. I will need to get some setting powder, but that's fine. I'll just go up to, I think there's actually a local one of these shops. They didn't have any lessons available, but yeah, no, these shops are everywhere in Sydney. So I don't know, I'll give that a go when I need it. But right now I'm just like, no, I'm still learning, I'm still practicing. So we'll do all that. Yeah, she was really sweet. So she got all these products together, like, you know, what do you need? I forgot to ask for a new sharpener, so that's going to be my next quest. We talked about cleaning the brushes, so I've been talking to, from the goth group, there was this really cool makeup artist from New Zealand who gave me some tips on, she also gave me like a chart on, you know, what the steps are and what all the different brushes are, but, you know, I've got this to tell me what all the different brushes are. But she told me to clean them, like, you know, spraying them with isopropyl alcohol. So I actually went to the local hardware store, I went to Bunnings, got myself a spray thing of isopropyl alcohol so I can disinfect the brushes, because, you know, you don't want to get bacteria or mold growing on them. So cool. But also, like, to do a proper clean, what I need to get is like a bar of soap, like, yeah, you know, those old school bars, and then you like wet things, and then you get the brush and sort of swirl it on top, and then you get you know, a tissue and swirl it on that, and you can see all the crap coming off. So that's probably another next quest as well, is getting the bar soap. She reckoned the lady at Mecca, I can't remember what she recommended. I wasn't paying enough attention, but the one that the makeup artist suggested was Lush bar soap. So I guess I will try and find that, because that's the only one I remember. So we talked about cleaning those things. Cool, because I don't want to get bacteria on my face. And, you know, with the whole acne thing, she said, you know, as long as you clean your face well, that's fine. Don't put mold on your face as well. Yeah, and then so I went and paid, and I noticed, okay, funny, I don't know for sure, but I mean, like, you know, the whole time I'm telling her, yeah, I do this goth stuff, I do heavy metal, I do YouTube, there's like a lot of things that I might want to use makeup for. She's like, oh, you're so cool, and, you know, because I did things well, oh, you're such a good student, nah, yeah. Then we got to the register, and so she's putting everything in so that I get the points. Hopi, can you please wait? I'm almost done. I know, he doesn't realize how long I ramble for when he decided to come in here with me, but I think he wants me to come out of here as well. Anyway, no, when she was putting my sale through and she's putting it under my account, that's where it shows all my details. And I did put in my birthday. And I think at that point is when she saw that I'm actually 35. And I think until that point, she thought I was kind of young. And she was like, you know, so your birthday's 16th of August, but she didn't say the year. And I'm like, yeah, and she's like, okay, good, just wanted to make sure it was under the right person's account. And so I think she probably thought I was heaps young, and like, you know, I'm like some young kid, you know, maybe just out of school or early uni or whatever, and I want to learn makeup. No, I'm a 35-year-old tomboy with mental health problems, yeah, trying to do makeup. I'm trying to do that whole, you know, dress for the life that you want kind of thing. And if I want to try and do more metal goth stuff, well, I have to dress the part so that I look at myself in the mirror and be like, okay, this is the thing that I'm doing. Instead of like dressing lazy and slob-like, and then I would just stay at home being depressed. No, I'm trying to challenge that. And that's why I'm coming to it late in life. But yeah, I think she did have a bit of a moment of like, oh, but she wouldn't say anything because, you know, especially like in that more mainstream beauty world, I guess, people are probably sensitive about their age. So whatever, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like the whole thing about the makeup, like for me, I don't really understand the mainstream beauty aesthetic. So she would ask me questions about, do you like blush? Do you like this? And I'm like, I don't know. I was happy with my face, but so I would trust you. You tell me what looks good, because yeah, I think I sort of understand now that I've done it. Like I can kind of see, but it's still kind of, I don't know, kind of subtle except for the eyes and the lips. Those are the main things that I noticed. But yeah, no, that was kind of fun. That little interaction, that sort of moment of, okay. Then I got her to take a couple of photos, you know, and so she took me back to the same lighting that we had when we were putting it on, took some photos, and she's like, oh, you gotta come back and, you know, show me all the different looks that you do and blah, blah, blah. So I asked what days she's in, you know, if I need more lessons. I will definitely need lessons if I do the eyelash extension thing, like the fake eyelashes thing. But yeah, so all up, that's a very long-winded ramble about my first ever makeup lesson. And yeah, hopefully talking about it has made it solidify into my brain a little bit more. I don't know if any of you guys are gonna get anything out of it, because I don't think beginners would watch my channel, and I think my audience is mostly male. But yeah, it's an interesting thing, like learning about all the things that chicks do. And yeah, there's some things I don't understand. I'm more interested in the artistic kind of side of makeup rather than the, you know, beauty side of makeup. If that makes sense, like I kind of make a distinction. It's like how like stage makeup is different to what chicks wear every day. I'm more into the stage makeup. I'm more into the dramatic goth kind of, yeah, the artistry rather than the, I just want to look good. No, I want to look artsy and whatever part of me wants to express stuff. I think, yeah, so it could get pretty dramatic as I experiment more. This is probably the most normal that I'm going to look, and we still managed to goth it up because we did do dark eyes and the dark lips, so fun. After that, yeah, I quickly called up my brother and his girlfriend because they live sort of in the area. I managed to meet up with them, and his girlfriend is like a proper girly girl. So I was like, hey, and she was really excited to see me like this. So I did tell her though, you want to come up? You want to come up? I did tell her though, this is probably the, you know, most mainstream girly I'm going to look. And then it's probably going to get more goth from here. So she's like, oh, I'm glad I took a photo then because she is more mainstream. Oh, yes, here is a little baby who is a little bit upset with me for going on and on and on and on. Aren't you? Aren't you? Tell everyone how annoyed you are with me making videos about makeup. Yeah, but so, interesting experience, came home. Dad did notice but didn't say a lot, hasn't really talked to me about like what's going on with you, why are you doing all these things. He reckons he did notice my black hair, but he didn't actually say anything until another carer I'd talked to him about it, so I think he probably said something, oh, by the way, did you notice she's dyed her hair? Yeah, no, he's got no curiosity about what's going on with me. Mum's overseas at the moment, so whatever. But yeah, no, there's a different carer today, and he was, oh, sorry, there's always dog hair everywhere now. Different carer today, and he was like, oh, you know, scary. And Mikey, I think Mikey noticed because he's looking at me like, what is this? And kind of like went a bit quiet and wasn't sure what to make of me, and was much more interested in the brushes. He does this when he's uncomfortable, he changes the subject, and so he's like, oh, brushes, rather than trying to look at my face. So this could be fun just to mess with my little brother, my disabled brother. Yeah. Okay, so that's everything. I'm going to leave you, though, on a schizoid point because I reckon some of my audience who are here for the schizoid stuff are probably like, this is not a schizoid thing, especially because I'm so covert and I've gotten better at, you know, being around people and like even talking to this lady. Yeah, okay, so I had a conversation with my psychology friend and, you know, mentioning this kind of stuff. Where the schizoid stuff comes in, I think, is that I'm trying to learn to do this myself in part so that I don't have to trust anyone else because, yes, I am making progress with band. I'm trying to get back into my solo project, trying to organize gigs for my solo project. If I want to do photo shoots, like I've got fashion stuff, if I want to try and wear fashion stuff, if I just want to do anything to do with makeup, I don't want to have to hire a makeup artist. It's much better if I can do it myself. And I have done a, you know, professional photo shoot in the past, which I won, but it's kind of a way for them to sell you more pictures, honestly. But yeah, the makeup artist there, I told her like I'm into the whole goth thing and all my clothes were goth. But if you've seen those photos, and I know I think I shared a lot of the other ones on Patreon that I hadn't released to the public, but I'm pretty sure on my Facebook you can find these photos or I can edit them in. With that makeup, she didn't really goth it up. Like it looked more pretty than goth, whereas this actually is more goth than that chick did, and this is still pretty tame in my opinion. So like, you know, I don't want to have to like talk to a bunch of makeup artists and try a bunch of makeup artists and try to find someone on the same page as me and try and show them reference images and just trusting another person with that. I have this habit of trying to be self-sufficient in a lot of things, and so I learn how to do things for myself. I never make a career out of it, like I don't learn the skill to be able to do it for other people. People keep saying, oh, you're doing makeup lessons, you could teach me. And I'm like, no, I'm learning it for myself. I mean, maybe I will help, but no, I'm learning it for myself so that I can do it for myself and I don't have to rely on anyone. I wonder if that's a bit of the schizoid thing coming through, because now I don't have to bother with anyone ever again. I mean, you know, maybe if I do more classes, but overall, I can do my makeup myself now. And just avoid everyone like I always do. So I'll leave you on that note, and we'll see how long I last with this. And at least if I'm doing YouTube, making up my face like this won't feel as pointless. But yeah, I gotta start practicing and gradually goth it up. We'll see how we go. Thanks for joining me. Bye. We're done, babe.